Before you go, subscribe, like and comment. Click the bell if you want notifications of new episodes.
So far there hasn't really been any surprises. So the cases look good. No pressure signs at all. Hood has a really good grip on this stock. And I've also shaved the weight with approximately 600 grams, which is quite significant. I'm getting older and I'm feeling my age, and I can't see myself carrying the ultimate off the mountains anymore. There was really no surprises there. I got precision where I expected to find it, and with a bullet which I also expected to have it with. Appears that the Picatinny here isn't all good. I think I might need to chop off a bit of the Picatinny here.
This episode contains sponsored items.
I think one of the most frequent requests I get is to talk about gear. I'm not really a big fan of doing that, so please remember that this is just opinions and you need to see it in the context of my use. What I say may or may not be applicable to you. But anyway, I must admit I am a gear junkie, and almost every year I buy something new in order to try to trim my present setup towards something more optimal for what I do. I think it's reasonable to say that most gear purchases is not going to do anything revolutionary to change your user experience if you have a good basic setup. So my latest purchase is terribly expensive, and I can't really figure out what it's supposed to do for me. It's too warm to have underneath a windbreaker, and the surface fabric here is too permeable to replace the windbreaker. So by all means it's a nice garment, but compared to a normal fleece, the only thing it seems to do is drive the price up. As you see, when you compare that jacket to a normal fleece, I don't look nearly as cool. As a rule of thumb, you can say that a fleece jacket can hold up to 1% of its weight in water. Give it some good shakes and you're going to have significantly less water in the garment. And as you move into the backcountry, where you have to carry everything, it's more natural to look at garments that will give you better heat retention for the same weight. And that's where the various type of puffy jackets come in. A lot of people are familiar with these. Fairly breathable, so you don't accumulate sweat. And it's noticeably lighter than a fleece jacket. And you want to have a good hood. And it shelters the face quite nicely, and it cuts off the heat loss around the neck here. If I tighten it up, it's just going to sit better and it's going to follow my vision. The layout is more or less the same in all of these jackets. But there are differences between the jackets, and the one I'm wearing now is possibly one of the best jackets on the market when you look at the weight, heat retentions and design. So this is the Norwegian Norrøna brand. This jacket doesn't weigh any more than the others, and it doesn't cost any more, but the competence in design is simply higher. They have pulled the insulation past the wrist and all the way up to the fingers. So there's a lot more heat retentions along the wrist. It's still the basic pockets, but the seam is moved, but rather the zipper is a lot further back. So you're actually going to have warm pockets that keep your heat compared to the other ones. You would perhaps think that a hood is a hood, but this design has possibly the most heat retention of the designs I have shown you. So by contrast, starting with the pockets, they don't really retain the heat, and the heat that builds up is going to go up and escape. Collar here, I don't know if you can see how wide it is. And I can't control it, so I'm not going to stop the heat loss here. But you can see it's behind my air defenders here. So there's just a massive amount of heat loss out of the hood. This jacket, it has the right colors, it has the right weight, it has the right materials, but it doesn't have the design features. So sadly, this has been one of the worst purchases I made this season. So the lesson here is don't listen too much to people on the internet. This is superb, proven itself over several years of use, and yeah, I could have used that money for something else. So I'm just doing an initial case head inspection here to see if there are any obvious overpressure marks. So far everything looks good, and the chronograph is also well within what we should expect. So I made an experiment shooting with a shorter length of pole. It just doesn't work. When I'm in the relaxed position, gripping the rifle properly, I don't have contact. The idea was to be more straight behind the rifle, get better recoil management, see the impacts better. I overdid it, it's too short, and it's just a pain in the ass to shoot this rifle now. Tension in the back of your shoulder blades and at the lower part here on the back, and your arms aren't really relaxed. But the grip is quite good. Easy to place the finger 90 degrees, fold the hand in, pull back. It's just that the length of pull is too short. So this is my relaxed position, and I can put my finger between here as there is no contact with the rifle. So when I creep up on it, everything just starts to be unpleasant, and I'm almost looking through the scope through my eyebrow kind of thing. Not at all good. Okay, last series of reloads. Perfect. And it doesn't seem to be any obvious pressure signs either. The velocity is right where it's supposed to be, and it shoots well enough, so I'll just use this load. I have no interest in trying to find the absolute best load in this rifle. Rather, I want a load with proper velocity, sufficient precision, and safe. Tick, 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 and we are done with the reloading of this rifle. Okay, so that's the reloading for the 243 done. It was easy enough to find a good load, but my initial idea of using both factory ammunition and reloads just didn't work. This was the factory copper. I couldn't even hit the target 30 times. Normal lead no problem at all. Carbonomix stock shoots quite excellent. Need to shoot it slightly different than compared to my K95. The shorter length of pull did not work, so I will have to extend that again. The Aquila barrel stub works just fine, and I must say I'm growing fairly fond of the Gunwerks bipod. It's quite excellent. So by now I'm fairly used to wasting money on gun projects, and as far as my gun projects go, I think I will give this an 8 out of 10 so far. It's nice to shoot a rifle with this little recoil. Okay, see ya.
Subscribe to the THLR channel by clicking the left logo icon, so you'll be shooting straighter than a drunk skunk before the sun shines over northern Norway.